Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hey, it's Derf from On and Off the Field with Derf and Dylan. And if you're wondering, hey, there's only one of us here tonight. Well, that's because Dylan's on vacation. But have no fear, Derf is here. So I'm just going to drop in tonight. Just going to give you a quick little update on what's going on in the sports world, what are some of my thoughts. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, and maybe just a little bit of what Derf's digging. So, as I mentioned, this is On and Off the Field. And to get going here, make sure to follow, like, subscribe, and share to the podcast. And let me tell you where you can do that. You can follow us at On and Off the Field on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and by subscribing to our YouTube channel. You can rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts, where you can tell us how we're doing and what you like or dislike about the show. Because it is you, the listener, and our audience that we care about so much that we want to know how we're doing. And you can find all of these links at onandoffthefield.com, along with our fundraising efforts like Feeding America and the Boys and Girls Club of America, and to learn more about myself, Dylan, and the show. So like I mentioned, we are talking about our fundraising efforts, and our current one right now is the Boys and Girls Club of America. That's going to be our one that we're focusing on for the OOTF Fantasy Football League. And we had our last Tuesday. We had our draft for the league. It went great. I think I got a pretty good team, hoping for top 5 at the end of the year. But we'll see. So make sure to keep an eye on the OOTF family group page on Facebook, where you'll find all our information, what's going on with the league, how everyone's doing, and stuff like that. I didn't happen to catch a total on what the total was for Boys and Girls Club of America, but I do know all of our boys over at Strikeout Beer are helping us by sharing our fundraising efforts to help us get to $1,000, which is our fundraising goal. And the winner of the OOTF Fantasy Football League is going to get some merch and maybe even some more things, but we're working it out. But anyway, the winner is going to get something. So, and speaking of merch, the merchandise is out now, and you can find the link at onandoffthefield.com. And it's spread across all of our social media platforms, in case you were wondering. So, and now until 9/30/2020, which is the end of the month now because it is now September. Shocker there. Did not think of September when I walked in to work this morning. You can use the promo code OOTF at checkout for 10% off. What better way to get on off the field merchandise than get it for 10% off? Winner, chicken dinner here. So that's our little warm-up here. I think last but not least, I just want to say thank you to all of our followers on social media. Everyone listens to the podcast. Everyone that watches the podcast every Tuesday and Thursday. We just hit 900 followers a couple of days ago. I think it's incredible that we now have 500 or 900 people keeping an eye on us, knowing what's going on with the podcast, being able to support us, letting us know how we're doing. Love it. And top it all off, On and Off the Field won the Maps Media Next Best Podcast competition. Yeah, we were fan favorite for 4 weeks in a row. We won 2 weeks of the competitions that were the challenges that we had for a couple weeks there in August. And we are getting a trophy that's going to be engraved for On and Off the Field. That's exciting. Plus a couple other things. A little here, a little there, but just great that everyone who voted for us, we thank you so much. And what other better way to transition into Dylan's least favorite sports segment? Because I'm talking about the other sports. We'll get a visual there occasionally, sometime here. All right, so I'm going to start out with in the college football world here, and a little news that came down earlier today, especially with all the backlash that the Big Ten has gotten. Apparently, the Big Ten commissioner and Donald Trump had a phone meeting this morning or sometime today before the podcast and discussed the logistics of the Big Ten playing football as soon as humanly possible, preferably this fall, but who knows? A lot of people were upset that the Big Ten canceled their seasons, trying to move to the spring. A lot of parents got super upset. A lot of the parents of these athletes. I get it, but I get why the Big Ten canceled. Medical reasons, health over money for the schools makes perfect sense to me. And so, in an earlier tweet today, Trump indicated that the Big Ten's plans to return were at the 1 yard line, and that's just him being him. I did nothing for that. But sources told ESPN that several plans are being considered by the Big Ten's return to competition task force. What is it with everybody in task force these days? Why does everybody need a task force to do anything? Committees, subcommittees, groups. Now we have a task force? All right. I'll roll with it. We'll roll with the task force here. So there is the potential early to start in late November or early January. But I'm thinking most likely next spring, but that's still on the table for next spring for Big Ten football. But on the other hand, a Big Ten source has told ESPN that nothing has changed at all. Absolutely nothing. They have gotten all the medical questions answered when they canceled, and they need to get even more medical questions answered to even think about bringing a plan for the president's approvals of all the Big Ten schools. So who knows? Could be a bunch of smoke in the social media land of the Big Ten coming back. Big Ten maybe not coming back. Who knows? I did just see a little breaking news a little while ago. I was getting ready for the show that the earliest start date that could potentially happen now is for the start of the Big Ten. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. So who knows? College football is just a whole lot of messed up, but I'll go from there. Oh, we got Brandon Combs coming in here saying Dylan Moran on vacation. Who approved that? Well, it wasn't me. I can tell you that, Brandon. It wasn't me. But that's okay. Derf's here. Derf's going to give you the news you need, and we're going to keep moving on. So, moving on to Major League Baseball. Yesterday was the MLB trade deadline for 2020 season. And according to some of the experts, it was the strangest deadline in Major League Baseball history. There was a lot of weird trades going on. I don't have all the specifics of all the trades because it's, like Dylan has said, it's the other sports. We don't know it all. We just give you the highlights. So the big name trade that came out yesterday was the Padres acquiring Mike Clevinger from Cleveland. So Cleveland will get right-hander Cal Quantrill, outfielder Josh Naylor, and catcher Austin Hedges, along with 3 minor league prospects. Shortstop Gabriel Arias, left-hander Joey Cantillo, and shortstop Owen Miller. Got Brandon coming in here saying, Derf is the better of the pair anyways. I love it, Brandon. I'll do what I can do tonight, but we all know Dylan helps the show go along too. But the Padres, besides Clevinger, who was an ace pitcher from Cleveland also get outfielder Greg Allen and a player to be named later. So it'll be interesting to kind of see who that player is that comes out after the dust settles and the season ends and they look for next year. They're going from there. But Clevinger, who's 29, is 42-22 with a 3.20 ERA and 584 strikeouts in just 523 and 1/3 career innings over 4+ seasons with Cleveland. And if the name sounds familiar coming from Cleveland, it should. He was demoted to the minors earlier this season when Clevinger and his teammate Zach Plesac broke coronavirus-related rules, left the team hotel, went out somewhere, and brought that exposure risk back to the team without telling anybody until they had already returned back from their games and were back in Cleveland. Like, hopefully it gets straightened out. His career is not tainted from it. And that's what he said after being questioned about coming to the Padres. So we'll see. Hopefully he can turn it around in his career. But that's why, if that name sounds familiar, that's why you know him. And also in the MLB, they have postponed the A's and Mariners series that was supposed to take place today, tomorrow, and Thursday after a member of the Oakland A's organization tested positive for COVID-19 this past weekend. So just another series of games for the MLB that they're going to try and make up later with 7-inning doubleheaders. I don't know why they don't just try triple headers now. I mean, they're just trying to cram in as much baseball as possible. So, Manfred wants to do it. It's not surprising anymore. So that's currently postponed this week. No word on when they might be able to get those games rescheduled, if at all, because the MLB is running out of time to get their games played and get the season over with so they can move on to their expanded playoffs. And that's all I got for the MLB. So moving on to the NHL. The Tampa Bay Lightning are on fire in the NHL playoffs this year, and they won last night against the Bruins 2-1 in double overtime to win their series 4-1. They are just a force to reckon with, and I don't know who they're going to play next, but look out, guys. So we'll see how the Lightning hold up on their next opponent, but tonight we have the Islanders and the Golden Knights are both looking to clinch their series tonight. So we'll see how that plans out. I know the Islanders are playing the Phillies. I'm blanking on who the Golden Knights are playing, but they're both up 3-1 on their opponents, so should be good wins tonight. So besides playoffs, there's not really much going on in the NHL. So that's all I got for you there. But real quick before we move on to our next sport, we got Dylan dropping in here with Fred. Hope you're enjoying your vacation, Dylan. I'm sure it's a lot warmer there than it is here and nicer. But I got it, Dylan. You just relax. So moving on to the NBA, the Celtics and Raptors started their Eastern semifinals playoff game, series on Sunday, and the Celtics stomped all over the Raptors. So that was not surprising, but let me pull up the current score because the Celtics and Raptors are actually playing right now in Game 2, trying to take that 2-0 lead. And right now there's 4:39 in the third quarter, and the Raptors are currently up by 3 at 67-64. So Celtics got time. It's a lot closer game this for Game 2, but I'm not worried yet. It'll be fine. But besides the Celtics and the Raptors series, we also have a great Game 7 tonight coming on at 8 o'clock, which is usually when the show ends. Should be off by then, but just so you're aware, there's a great game coming on at 8 o'clock between the Utah Jazz and the Denver Nuggets. Denver was initially down 3-1 in the series, but thanks to Jamal Murray, he brought them back to tie it up in Game 6, and winner takes all in Game 7. So it'll be Jamal Murray versus Donovan Mitchell tonight. Those are going to be your all-stars there to keep an eye on for that game. But definitely a very exciting Game 7. I'm probably sit down and watch it a little bit tonight just because it's young talent, and this is what the future of the NBA is going to look like. So this is just going to be awesome. But also, tomorrow night we have another Game 7 between the Rockets and the Thunder. And, the Rockets really thought they were going to sweep it last night in Game 6, but the Thunder said, not today, buddy. And they're going to go to Game 7 tomorrow. And these are tonight's game and tomorrow's Game 7s are both in the Western Conference. So the Lakers and Clippers are just getting extra time here because these guys couldn't sweep each other. But right now it's TBD whether the Lakers or Clippers get either of these four teams. So it'll be interesting to see the next two nights how it pans out and whether or not the Lakers can get bounced out of the playoffs or if the Clippers are going to continue to try to just walk through the playoffs. But we'll see. I think if I had to pick somebody, I'm going to take the Nuggets tonight, and I'm going to take the Thunder tomorrow. A little bit of surprise. I feel like most people would probably go with the Rockets. James Harden and Russell Westbrook are there. But I feel like the Thunder is going to go. They're going to play, and they're going to go down trying. So I'll take the Thunder on that one. But that's pretty much all I have for the other sports news here. I mean, there's really not a lot going on in the other sports besides playoffs, games getting canceled, college football not knowing what they're doing half the time, changing it from minute to minute. But so I think we'll move on to the NFL news. So we'll start out with a little bit of a sad story here. And Derwin James for the Los Angeles Chargers is officially out for the season after suffering a significant knee injury during practice on Sunday that will require knee surgery, which will put him on the shelf for the next 6 to 8 months. Not weeks, months. That is a absolutely huge blow to the Chargers defense by losing the star potential at that safety position. Granted, Anthony Lynn's going to do what he does. Next man up. That's one of his mottos there. They still have a lot of star power there. They'll be fine. But man, Derwin James just can't catch a break playing for the Chargers. Like his literal goal this year was to play all 16 games. Didn't meet his goal this year. Did he not hit that goal this year? Oh, do you wish we had preseason football for that? You could see him a little bit this year. Nah, I'm ready for a week and a half now to be here and have some NFL football playing live and new and fresh, and yeah, I'm just ready for it. So let's turn to some positive news here. The Vikings defense got much better this past weekend. Sunday morning, they swung a huge trade with the Jacksonville Jaguars by sending a 2021 second-round pick and a conditional 2022 fifth-round pick, which could go as high as the third round, for defensive end Yannick Ngakoue. He is finally out of Jacksonville. He is up in Minnesota. That defense just took a giant step forward. So I think it's great. Yeah, but what are the Jaguars doing? Man, oh man. But, they get the draft picks, and now next year they're looking at 2 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks next year. So they got some draft capital to be to rebuild here because they're rebuilding. There is no chance that they are okay with this team. And if they are, they need to change who is in that front office, maybe change the owner. If you're okay with this team being this mediocre, you need change. There needs to be a giant change in what's going on. And I really hope that the Jockstrap King might be the answer there. He is going to be that culture change for the Jaguars. But as good as Yannick Ngakoue moving out of the Jacksonville, we also have another Jacksonville Jaguar being waived/released yesterday, as in Leonard Fournette, because there was absolutely no takers for a trade from the beginning of the offseason all the way to now. Not a single team reached out to the Jacksonville and said, hey, what do you need for Fournette over there? We're kind of interested. Nope. Absolutely nothing came out there. So Jacksonville's like, yeah, we already voided as a fifth-year option, and 3 seasons have gone by. Okay, see you later, Fournette. Yeah, you haven't been great. Bye. So he had until 4 p.m. today on waivers to get claimed. 4 p.m. came, 4 p.m. passed. Nobody picked him up, so now he's a free agent with no compensation back to Jacksonville. There's a lot of speculation of where he'll go. I'm not super worried about it. I know Buffalo was on the list at one point. I doubt it. He's not coming to Buffalo. These are the players that get cut in August that are good, that it's going to struggle to find a new team right now unless something insane happens with a lot of player injury, which is projected to happen in the first few weeks. I don't see him landing on a great team. He's not going to walk on to the Chiefs. He's not going to walk on to the 49ers. He's not going to walk on to the Buccaneers. He's just not. He's gonna find the Raiders, maybe the Dolphins, maybe the Browns if they really wanted to throw a third guy in there. Maybe the Steelers. The Steelers need help on offense. He's some kind of help. I don't know if it's good help, but it's some kind of help. But yeah, so with him a free agent now, but Leonard Fournette has also officially filed a grievance against the Jacksonville Jaguars to try and recoup the $4.1 million that the team voided in his base salary by releasing him. So, yeah, it's going to happen. He's going to try and get his money back. He's just not – he had a good 1-2 season, and then last year was just atrocious. Like, he was – bad. It was so bad last year watching him play, and I'm glad I didn't have him on my fantasy football team, but that's another story. But if you look at the Jacksonville Jaguars and you say, who's on the team that's been a first-round pick from 2012 to 2017? If you guessed anybody, I'd tell you were lying, because there is not a single first-round draft pick on that team from those years. Like, Fournette was the last one from 2017, because he was picked 4th overall in the 2017 draft, to be still on the team. And they barely have anyone from that year at all. Like, the team is so young. Anyone they draft, they're trading away for draft picks, and they're bringing old guys in or bringing veterans in just to try to have somewhat of a team. But all right, so we'll move on from the Jaguars. That's enough talk about them for the year. So, but I got my big brother Andreas here checking in, saying the preseason is always lame. I agree. The preseason is not always great to watch. Usually about week 3 is the game I usually aim for, to try to really watch the whole game, just to see more of the starters kind of play, see what the finished product of the training camp or what the coaches have put together. is looking like. But yeah, there's week 4 is always a hot mess. I usually that's a struggle to watch. If you can sit there and tell me you watch week 4 preseason football and you enjoy it, I need to know what do you do, because I can't sit there. That's torture. So bad. But speaking of other free agents who are finding new homes, Logan Ryan has finally found a home as he will join the New York Giants on a 1-year, $7.5 million contract. He finally did it, and that's not a bad deal for 1 year, especially going to the Giants. Like, they need help on that secondary. The defense needs a lot of help. There's only one more player out there that was ranked above him currently in free agency, and that's Clowney. Who knows where that guy ends up? It's not Seattle. No, but I don't think anyone's biting on him. Who knows? But Logan Ryan, anyway, was the second-rated player out there still available until now, which he joins the New York Jets on that 1-year deal. Other good news, we have the Cincinnati Bengals giving Joe Mixon a contract extension for 4 years and $48 million through 20 because football team, and that's the kind of news I want to hear, that they have faith in him to play. And that's pretty good money for a running back for 4 years, so you usually don't see that out of a lot out of running back deals. But moving on, the Detroit Lions also gave an extension today to left tackle Taylor Decker. Now, this is a whopper. This is 6 years for $85 million with $37.5 million guaranteed for a left tackle. Left tackles, the blind side for the quarterback, they're needed. That's the piece de resistance for a lot of lines. And yeah, they're paying. They want him there. They want Decker there for the long haul. They're trying to keep Matthew Stafford healthy. Yeah, that's going to be that's a big one there. We'll see how that plays out for the rest of the line in the season, and then next year whether or not they can keep that line together. But that's all for player news for the NFL. But in general NFL news, the NFL has taken over the investigation into allegations of workplace misconduct against the Washington football team. That is a big oof for Dan Snyder, because he's in trouble. When the NFL takes over a private investigation, they must know something that they're just trying to get more evidence on, because the hammer's going to drop and it is not going to be pretty for this football organization. Granted, they bring in a new team president. They have a new coach, Ron Rivera, this year. Things are changing. Things are looking up. That ownership, though, it's toast. Dan Snyder is going to get pressed to get out of that team's as being an owner. I just don't see this coming out positive for them with the NFL taking over the investigation, but we'll see what more news comes out of that situation, but I just don't think it's good. And also in the NFL, they are finalizing policies for artificial crowd noise, as most teams are going to be playing without fans this year. Well, at least the start of the season. Who knows what happens as it moves on, as things change in the country. But the league has curated an audio track that will play at every game where there will not be fans. So the NFL is coming up with a standard crowd noise for every team to use. I would assume if they don't use this track, there's probably a penalty that they're going to have to pay. If they try to alter it, there's going to be a penalty they have to pay. But this just helps home teams feel like they're at home with the crowd noise. I don't know if there's going to be a rule for people who manage the audio in the stadiums, whether or not they can turn it up at certain points in the game? Is there going to be a rule on when they can play noises? I haven't seen anything like that yet, but at least they're not. The NFL isn't leaving it up to each team to come up with their own audio track, which I think is good. Make it standard across the league. There's your noise. I know the NFL wants to get a lot of the fans involved and kind of bring them to the stadium in a virtual way, and I think this crowd noise is going to do it. Good for them. So, but to answer Andy's question here, so basically it'll be kind of like the crowd noise on Madden, and that's a simple way to put it. I know a lot of overseas leagues that were playing with no fans originally, like the Australian football team when they had no fans, or like a lot of rugby teams over there, like they were pumping in pretty loud crowd noise for no fans. It almost made the game not enjoyable to watch, but it sounded normal. Like you had rowdy fans, like it's just having that noise there is just comforting to watching a sporting event like that. So, but the NFL will have crowd noise, so no hearing the cadence count every 5 seconds, and no giving away to what each team's doing. It'll be all right. But lastly, in the NFL news, Commissioner Roger Goodell has emphasized the league's initiatives and commitment to bringing about racial inequality and social justice by saying in a conference call with the media today that he has confirmed that the phrases "it takes all of us" and end racism would appear in NFL end zones this season, and also encouraged encouraged voter registration. I like it. I'm a fan of it. I think it's really good for the NFL to take a stance like this, and just try to support their players with the right stuff, or the right material to promote what they're trying to say. It's similar to what the NBA is doing right now with Black Lives Matter on the courts, the commercials that the NBA has paid for the players and the coaches to be able to talk about racial inequality and social injustice. And this is a good first step for the NFL. Is it the last step for them? Absolutely not. I want to see more out of it. I want to see what they can do. I love the voter registration encouragement that the NFL is doing with the NFL Votes campaign right now. It's a great push. I think it has a large voice in a lot of the communities in the country. So keep it up, NFL. But that is all the NFL news I have for you currently. So we're going to go into a What Derf's Diggin segment. It's a little on the odd side to be digging this, but you'll see what I mean when I get into it. So most of the people know on Friday, actor Chadwick Boseman passed away at age 43 from colon cancer. He was diagnosed back in 2016 with stage 3, and it has kind of progressed over the last 4 years. But this is what I'm digging. I am digging and absolutely amazed at all the support from the comic book world, the superhero movie community, and just everywhere else in general for the love and support and appreciation of this man. He was in many movies. The Jackie Robinson movie, he played Jackie Robinson in there. There was a couple other ones that were noted a lot when talking about his passing. But the one that I know him for, and I think a lot of people are going to know him for, is bringing to life the King of Wakanda. And that would be T'Challa in Marvel Studios' Black Panther. that movie has won awards upon awards for over a year because of how magnificent that movie was. And he helped make that movie so magnificent. Because he was completely the perfect role, perfect fit for that role in that movie. And just to hear that he had been fighting cancer for 4 years completely solidifies that. Like, the guy, he's truly what a hero is. Absolutely what a hero is. To make an action movie like that and to be that in depth into a movie, not even like a support role. No, this guy was the main role, and stage 3 colon cancer he was fighting the entire time. Like, these actors go through extreme workouts for these kind of movies, and he was keeping up with everybody. Like, that is absolutely impressive. But unfortunately, the cancer did get worse for him. But as heroes pass away and leave this earth, I say rest in power, King, because amazing actor, and I'm really curious to see kind of what Marvel will do with Black Panther 2. I think that's coming out in 2022, I want to say, or end of 2021. I'm sure COVID kind of put a hitch back in production of that, like other movies that's been going on, but it'll be interesting to see kind of what happens there. Do they have a replacement? Do they not? Did they get enough footage with Chadwick? Who knows? And yeah, but absolutely, rest in power to Chadwick Boseman. What an actor. And it's so sad to hear him leave at age 43. Whew, that's way too early for a great person. But we have Clark checking in here and saying, "Hey, crew. What's going on there, Clark?" So if anyone's still just tuning in right now, just to give you a heads up, it's just me tonight. Dylan's on vacation, and I just wanted to stop in and give you kind of a news update. And that's really all I got for you tonight. A little bit of Derf Diggin there, not really a huge main segment. But yeah, just give you guys the news and see what's going on. I'd love the comments here. It's been great to have you guys on tonight. So, but that's pretty much it. I'll be back on Thursday. We're going to cut the show a little early tonight. Just because we don't have much more for you guys. It's mostly just news going on in NFL and other sports. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'll be back on Thursday at 7 o'clock like usual. We'll give you a little rundown. I'll think of a new topic to talk about tonight, on Thursday too. But yeah, that's the show. I appreciate everyone listening. If you're just joining in now and you want to listen to the entire episode, make sure to check us out on YouTube on our page On and Off the Field, or you can check us out on Anchor and Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We'll be on later tonight. So like that, thank you very much. And for season 3, as always, protect your nuts.